Welcome, everyone. Welcome to E3 with me, John Guns. Welcome, everybody. Super excited about tonight. Ready to grow, ready to go, ready to have some fun tonight. So help us by inviting others to join us tonight for E3. It's going to be amazing. And as always, I always start out by sounding like I'm babbling because I'm actually inviting people to join us. But it's going to be fun tonight. I've got someone who's incredibly dear to me, someone who I believe is up to so much good, and so I want to welcome him now. Scott Cotton, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Bishop. How are you?
Man, I'm doing amazingly well. I'm excited tonight to be able to share with you and for us to be able to, just kind of talk, just kind of talk through some stuff tonight and really, 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 really look at some amazing opportunities that you are offering now. And we definitely want to be able to, to talk about it, talk through it. We have been we've been together for how many years?
Well, 25 years in terms of developing a relationship. You came to St. Paul 25 years ago, and I was a member there. Actually grew up in St. Paul, so I was there when you came. 24 years of full-time ministry working alongside of you, which has been a joy of my life.
So what made you commit to St. Paul's vision under me? What is it that made you commit to do this work with me, and in turn, us building this relationship over these last 25 years?
Well, Bishop, I actually I brought into the vision as a member of St. Paul. Of course, now we call ourselves partners. So I brought into the vision then. When you came, I remember sitting in the rear of the church, and you shared that vision. You had that document, and I have that original document with my notes on it.
Oh,
and I brought into the vision, and it was something that was very unique, and it was something that I felt as I brought into it that I needed to invest my time, energy, and resources to making it happen and to making you successful as our pastor. And then, of course, when you approached me about coming on staff at the time as the minister of youth and young adults, I felt that, I knew that was my calling. I grew up knowing that I was called to ministry. I was called to preach. And this was now the opportunity for me to walk through. And I took advantage of that opportunity.
It's interesting, man. Over the years, you have emerged as a thought leader as relates to leadership, and it's kind of interesting. When did you decide, or when did you become clear that developing leaders would be your passion?
Actually, it was about in about 1998. I'm going to say 1998. But prior to coming on staff full time, I was in management. I had been in management for 10 years at Payless Shoe Source, and I had a promising future there in management and moving up. But in 1998, I began to take some classes at True Bible College, Truth and Living Bible College. And it was interesting what you sent the staff on Friday, the YouTube clip of Miles Monroe. I got a hold of one of our books we had to read and do a report on was from Miles Monroe, Becoming a Leader. And that book actually just unleashed something in me that was just dormant. I had been making managers and making assistant managers and key holders at Payless. So I knew it was in me, but that book just kind of released me to embrace my kingdom assignment from a corporate assignment. And it was at that point that I knew that that's what I was ultimately called to do in the kingdom.
What have you done to prepare yourself to be that guy that helps others in leadership?
Booker, I used to take my Fridays, of course, with the staff, we're out of the office on Fridays. So it was about 2 years straight. I was taking every Friday and I was sitting in a bookstore on Southside Boulevard in Atlantic here in Jacksonville. And I would be there until time for me to pick up my son from school, which was about 6 hours, 8 hours a day. And I would just develop leadership material, know where to use it. No one was calling me to do it. No one really knew that was my passion. That was my assignment. But because I knew it, I was equipping myself to do it. And then when I really began to look at the structure of church, I just kind of discovered that church was like the new corporate America. It runs like a business. It has the competitive edge like other businesses. You can benchmark different churches and what they're doing. So because of that, and because of my assignment to the church, I understood that I had to equip myself in an arena to help leaders be able to not just live out their calling, but to be able to execute their assignment. And that was knowing how to do budgets, how to build a team, how to motivate and inspire your teams. So because of that, I returned back to school, got my BS in business management, and shortly after that, I still felt empty, felt like it was so much more for me to do. So I returned to school and I worked on my MBA degree. So I have my Master's of Business Administration. And then I took a hiatus from school for a long time. And I, of course, I did go back because it was a desire of mine. And with you being my spiritual father, to be able to get that higher degree in theology. So I got my MDiv with a concentration in Christian leadership. So between education and study time and working, I built myself and I equipped myself to be able to, what I believe is to actually train and develop leaders in the local church.
So let's talk about this MBA. Why get an MBA?
Well, when you look at what an MBA is, business administration, a master's in business administration, it is really about how do you organize the organization? How do you build up the organization? How do you sustain the organization? So in the program that I took in my MBA, our focus was problem solving. Being able to go in, of course, that's not a word I like to use, problem, but for the sake of the conversation of the degree, it was problem solving. But basically what we had to do is we had to look at the decline in organizations, and we had to work processes and procedures to bring them up to a very competitive edge to help them be able to sustain their growth and to grow. So when I looked at the church, when I looked at the local church, I understood that an MBA degree gives me the ability to administer all that the church is doing, corporate wise, business wise, and it fits very well into what we do as a local church.
So let's kind of drill down. What is it then? Okay, so if I was a leader of a business, of a nonprofit, of a church, of an organization, and I was dealing with decline, what would you offer me? What would you come in and do to help me be successful?
Well, the first thing I would come and do is I would look at the total aspect of your organization, from top to bottom, side to side, looking at what your company or what your organization had been doing in the past. The first thing for me is to really look at what your purpose is as an organization, and to make sure that your purpose is being lived out every single day. Most of the challenges that you find within organization and even churches is that sometimes they get off track for that purpose. So I would look at that. I will offer our organization a SWOT analysis, be able to look at what the strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities, as well as adding an additional T, which is trends. What's trending in your industry, in your area? And are you adapting yourself, and are you applying those new trends to stay relevant? So we would look at that. We would look at staffing. Look at the totality of your staff, making sure that not do you just have people on the bus, but do you have the right people in the right seats on your bus? And if not, how do we navigate and put those people in their right places to be able to take on the task that is assigned to them for their assignment in your organization? Then the other thing is offer coaching. Sometimes in organizations, it's really about the individuals that you have working. Are they equipped enough to be able to do the assignment? And the best way you can do that with individuals is to coach them. So I am certified as a leadership coach. So I can sit down with the individual and coach them for a period of time and put them in a place where they can begin to self-coach themselves into being effective as a leader within an organization. So it's really just it's that looking at the totality of your organization and how can we move it forward to be successful in the future.
What is it that you, Scott Cotton, offers that is unique to this industry of organizational management, of consulting in the area of working with ministries and businesses and nonprofits? Because I don't want to box you in. Because
Yes,
I think that leadership is interesting. Leadership is transferable.
Absolutely.
The core traits of an effective leader is not bound simply to business or church or military or athletics. When you are a leader on a court, like a basketball court, there are certain traits and characteristics that immediately transfer to being a leader wherever you're giving assignment and responsibility. So the game leader could probably be a corporate CEO.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. When you drill down to leadership, you would discover that leadership is really about influence. And everything within an organization or a group rises and falls on leadership. So it's about the individual influence as a leader. So if you're a basketball, you're on the basketball court and you're a leader on that court, it's about how well you influence others to live out not just their purpose, but their capacity to be successful. Leadership is more than just giving tasks away. A lot of people say, oh, well, in leadership, we have to empower people. That's absolutely right. But there's a method of that empowerment that you have to be able to walk people through. It's not just giving them a task and letting them do it. It's your ability to stay close enough to inspire them and motivate them and influence them. That's why I tell people all the time, you can be a good leader, or you can be a bad leader. At the end of the day, you're still a leader. You can influence someone to do good, or you can influence someone to do bad. Either way, you're a leader. You got gang leaders who do bad activities, but at the end of the day, they are leaders and they have the ability to influence people. Now, just imagine taking that individual out of the gang scene and putting them in a corporate setting where they can influence a team of people to live out the capacity of their assignment. And the character, now, you start dealing with character, there may be some things that you got to work with in terms of characteristics, the character of a leader, the traits of a leader. Those are some things that you definitely work with. But at the end of the day, all leaders have the same basic element, influence. And that's where we have to get leaders to. I'm from the notion where you hear, leaders are made. I don't really subscribe to that. I subscribe to the fact that leaders are born because everybody have a sense of influence in them. Everybody has a sense of influence. And because of that, it is how well we can birth and harvest that influence to make a difference in someone else's life, which makes that person a leader.
What do you think are the 3 to 5 most important traits of a leader?
The first one is honesty. You have to be honest. Honest goes a long way because honest help your team trust you and buy into you. So being honest, saying what you're going to do and doing what you say is really important. And you got to understand, teams look at that when it comes to a leader. If a leader is going to say they're going to do something, then a team is looking to see if those words are going to take root and is going to grow. The second is integrity. You have to have integrity. You have to be willing to do the right things, even when someone is not looking. That's integrity. When you look at the scope of a leader's integrity goes beyond the workplace or the organization. It's how they're carrying and living out their lives every single day. The other one is communication. How well are you communicating? How well are you communicating vision and mission? How well are you communicating and recognizing the good in your team? And are you communicating that to them? And then I think the other thing is inspiring. You got to be able to inspire and motivate people. You do. As a leader, you're going to have a diverse group of people around you. And you've got to be able to inspire the diversity of the people that's around you. And how do you do that? How do you motivate them? How do you motivate someone who walks in the office on any given day and may have some challenges in their personal life? And how do you motivate them to not just do their tasks, but motivate them to feel as though they're going to be able to conquer whatever it is they're facing in life through their work assignment and through their own personal life? So I think those are the most important things. And it's a lot, but those are some very key ones.
So like you and I been together like forever. Why have you stayed with me when you could have gone off and done your own thing outside of Papa telling you she would never leave her Papa? Papa, we will never leave. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I made a commitment. I made a vow. And that was to walk alongside of you in this ministry assignment that I knew I was called to. Trust the process of it all. But to, every day I have the opportunity to help build something that people have never seen before. And that's joy. That wakes me up. That keeps me up at night to know that I am building something that is going to outlast me. And I didn't want to just go work somewhere and do some other things for the sake of money or a title. I want it to last generations from now. And when I take my last breath, all that I believe St. Paul has built and all of the things that I have been able to participate in your vision as a leader and your personal vision on your life, that's going to speak of who I was in my life. And that's the joy of it. And that's where I hang my hat every single day.
The reason I raise that is because you're rare. When most people think of leadership, they think of leadership as the summit of their personal authority and as somehow them reaching the top of the food chain. That when I'm the leader, I'm at the top of the food chain. I'm the person that's got the last word. You are defining leadership as being a responsibility to a vision and the courage to execute that vision and to live that vision out with integrity and intensity. I mean, you're rare because when you've built out this whole thing called the second chair, kind of speak to that.
So 24 years ago when I came on board, and I tell this story often.
We were both thinner and could see our feet and had hair.
Right. Was I thinner? I never forget. I think it had to be within the first 2 weeks of being on staff. And you took me to Lifeway bookstore, and you had me to walk side you behind you, and you was just pulling books off the shelf saying, you need to read this, you need to read this. And then you said, before you do anything with my young
story every time.
Yeah, before you do anything with my young people, you need to make sure you read all these books. So that just kind of sparked that in me. That gave me a passion to be a lifelong learner and to read more. So I read this book several years ago called Leading from the Second Chair. And it just totally changed my life and changed my look as a leader. You're right. Everybody wants to be the leader. Everybody wants to sit in the top office with the window overlooking the skyline, right? But the most important person outside of that leader is the second chair leader. And the second chair leader is not necessarily the assistant. It is the subordinate to the leader who have a very clear understanding of what their assignment is, and they live that out every single day. They embody the vision that is spoken from the leader, and they live the mission out as a second chair leader. When you look at every,
you need to stop right there. Just go back. You said too much. Then you kept going. Stop. So So the second chairperson is the person who figures out or who discerns the vision of their leader. And then they commit to that vision in a way that vision becomes theirs.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. See, most people say, I want to live out my vision. You hear people saying, well, I got my own vision for my life. I don't mean to be harsh, but no, you don't. You everything that you do is a vision that God or somebody has spoken for you. You have your own purpose. You have a purpose, and this is me. This is how I see it. I have a purpose, right? I have a purpose. I have a clear assignment, and I have a clear calling. I've answered that, right? I've answered my calling. I live out my calling, my purpose. But I execute my assignment every day. So my assignment is to be able to embody the vision of my leader, that thus gives me the capacity to live out my purpose every day. If there was no vision for St. Paul and no vision for John Guns, then I couldn't successfully discover what my purpose was. I could still be in retail management and not living out my purpose. So it's until I embody the vision of my leader that then gives me the capacity to live out purpose.
So I'm a firm believer of this. This is kind of interesting where this conversation is going. We got a few more minutes. I'm a firm believer that not everybody that's pastoring the church is supposed to be pastoring the church. I'm a firm believer that there's a lot of folk, and I know people are going to disagree. They're going to say, well, how dare you think that you are the one who should say this? But I got 35 years behind me. I just believe that there are far too many people who are sitting in positions of pastoring, of senior pastoring, that should not be there because they don't have the maturity, or they don't have the clarity of call, or they don't have an appreciation for what it takes to be what God has called them to be. What is it about you that makes you like this? Because reality is, if the church had more you, if businesses had more you, if organizations had more you, there would be a lot more successful organizations and churches and businesses in the world. What is it about you? I mean, and I don't want you to be, I don't want you to be humble. No, tell us, what is it about Scott Cotton that makes Scott Cotton this?
Well, that's probably one of the things I never really sat down and assess about myself.
That's the problem. I need you to assess. And here's why. No, here's why. Because when this is over, people are supposed to be calling you. And let me tell you why. Because I've discovered something. The best person to teach leaders is someone who is a follower as a leader.
I mean, here it is. God told Moses to go to Pharaoh. And What excuse did Moses give? I can't speak. I'm a stutterer. And God said, I give you somebody who can speak for you.
Right.
Then when they got to the place of going into the promised land, and he sent the people over to survey, and they all came back and they said, listen, there's giants over there. Who spoke up and said we can take it? Caleb. So I believe that there are individuals who are called to be the second chair. There are individuals who are called to be Caleb's, who can influence others to buy into the vision and then help their leader lead them to where they're supposed to be. And you have to be extremely confident in who you are to know that.
Stop right there. That's the point that I'm trying to get you to acknowledge. That's why, because there's a different kind of confidence.
It is.
To do what you do.
It is. You have to be you have to be totally confident in who you are, and you have to be totally confident in who you know God has called you to be. Because if not, then you will go with the wind. You will go with the need of what you see in someone else's and what they have attained, and believe that, oh, I want that too. I want that for myself. Or people say to you, listen, you just as good. You ought to be pastoring your own church. No, you got to know with confidence, this is where I'm supposed to be, because I am helping build something that no one has ever seen before, but everybody can enjoy.
As we get ready to close, I want to ask you two questions. The first question is, why should someone call you to come help them?
Why should someone call me to come help them? Organizationally wise, individually wise?
Period. Why should someone call J. Scott Cotton, an MBA, to come help them with their organization? I'll clear it up like that.
Okay. Because I can solve problems. I can in my MBA program, as a MBA recipient, you specialize in certain things. I specialize in solving problems for organizations, as for and individuals. I can come in and sit with your organization and look at the challenges of your organization and put together a system that can help you execute in terms of solving the problems of your organization. From an individual, I can sit down and coach you in leadership to discover your unique purpose and to discover who you're supposed to be in your leadership role and how you live that out every single day.
So how can someone reach you? And what do you have out there?
So I have Cotton & Company Leadership Group. And of course, you can reach me and find me on all social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I am Bishop. I'm actually getting ready to kind of redevelop. And I am launching another business. It's called Advanced Coaching Solutions. Being able to come in and offer solutions to your organization and your leadership to advance you to live out the purpose of your organization and to live out the purpose of your leadership. So you can find me there. You can call me. You can call me 904-800-9835. That's my business number. I'd be more than welcome to sit down and talk to you. Or you can go to my website, www.cottonandcompanylg.org.
Okay. So,
of course, church. You can always reach me through St. Paul.
So what is that number again?
904-800-9835.
904-800-9835. 9835. Okay. Here's the commercial. A couple of weeks ago, Cotton and I were sitting together. We were talking about something because we got some business stuff we're working on. And I just have a real burden for him because, one, you can't find loyalty that matches him. But the second thing you can't find is the motivation to be better. So I want to challenge everybody that's out here, even if you're a partner of St. Paul and you need someone to help coach you because you're close to your success place. Scott Cotton is the one you need to call. If you're a pastor or you are someone with a business and you need someone who can help you grow out your business or grow out your vision, he's the one that can help you. Cotton and I hate the word problem. Whenever we hear it, no matter what setting we're in, we cringe. Problem is not a word that we embrace. We believe in solutions. And really, I've been motivated by him to really believe in this idea of solutions. So I want to encourage you to reach out to Scott Cotton today. To go to his website. He's got written material. He has all kind of stuff that he's worked on and built out. And I would encourage you to do it because the brother is amazing. I'm not just saying that because he is he's closer to me than anybody in the world. I mean, I would call him a best friend, but he don't want that title because he sees himself as my son. So he don't want that title of my best friend. But to be very transparent, I don't know anybody who I trust more outside of my wife. And so I am honored to have had you on the E3 show today. I want you're supposed to be heard. You just are. And both of us, I mean, this is kind of what you got from me, which is sometimes we kind of do this humility thing. But to be very transparent, you and I are both men who have been given incredible opportunities by God to walk together. In fact, when I retire in 10 years, what you going to be doing?
I'm retiring in 10 years.
I mean, literally, St. Paul going to have to grow. I mean, St. Paul going to have two retirement services, one for me and one for him.
Yeah.
Because he would have put in almost as much time as me. And I know a lot of you probably couldn't understand how a man this intelligent, this gifted would commit 24 years of his life. But he has. And your wife is stupid. Paula talk about something. Amen. We out. So silly. So again, what's that number?
It is 800-9835.
I want to encourage everybody to share this again and share it with more people. Let's see if we can get thousands of people to watch this. Scott Cotton is extraordinary. Do you have anything you want to say as a final statement tonight?
It's simply this, Bishop, and it's how I live my life. There are no problems, there are no challenges where there's not a solution. If you decide to discover the solution, then you would discover that the problem wasn't as big as you thought it was.
Wow, that's big. That's great. That's really good. That's really good. Well, thank you for being the solution guy. For you are the voice of leadership.
Thank you so much, Bishop, for having me. It was a joy to come on E3 with you tonight. Bless you for all that you're doing to empower all of us to live out our purpose.
What is your Cash App? Because tonight we need to sow into your life. What is your Cash App?
$ J. Scott Cotton. I make it easy, Bishop.
$ J. Scott Cotton.
Yeah.
I want everybody to go and to sow into J. Scott Cotton. Cash App $ J. Scott Cotton. Right now, if you're watching me, you're watching us. $ J. Scott Cotton. Right now. $ J. Scott Cotton. And sow into him. Invest into his vision. Invest into his dream. $ J. Scott Cotton. In fact, I'm gonna do it right now. $ J. Scott Cotton. There you go. Thank you. Your sister has been on point tonight. She was offering commentary the whole time.
Listen, she's good. She's good at that, right? And you know what, Bishop? I want to make this. Real soon, everyone. Real soon, my next book is gonna come out. It's called The Beatitudes of Leadership. The Beatitudes of Leadership. I take 10 leadership traits from my journey of walking with Bishop Guns, and I put them in a book. 10 attitudes that you have to be a successful leader. And I'm really excited. I am so excited that my forward is done by my bishop. My forward to the book is done by my bishop. So that's going to be coming out real soon. I will be launching the pre-orders for it hopefully in the next several weeks. And I'm just excited about that particular piece as I begin to even write my next piece. And I kind of gave a little segue to it earlier. The church is called The Church, the New Corporate America.
Wow. Keep doing it, man. I've already sent my seed. I need some people to join me as we sow into him so he can get his books out there. He can keep his website updated. He can do all the stuff he needs to do. This is not going into this is not going into his belly. It's going into your soul. So if you sow into him, I promise you're going to release him to be able to sow into you. Man, you're my son. I wouldn't trade you. And my 25 years wouldn't be as good as it's been if God didn't give you me and me to you.
I bless God for it every day.
I do too, man. You're amazing. And yes, this is a bromance. We love each other.
Absolutely.
To no end.
Absolutely.
I promise you, there's one relationship you don't want fool with. It's this one right here.
Right.
We're ride or die. And I thank God for you. Thank you all so much for joining. Sowing the J. Scott Cotton tonight. Sowing the J. Scott Cotton. Love you guys. You're amazing.